What's up, guys? This is Kyle over here at the Horror File, coming back, doing another disturbing slash extreme movies collection. This is going to be part two. I know it's been a while since I've uploaded one of these. I had said, talked about doing this like once a month, making this like a once a month thing, but kind of got caught up doing some other stuff. Haven't really uploaded the channel a whole lot. But this is going to be part two. As you remember, part one, I did Audition, the Bunny Game, and a Serbian film. Pretty much the whole point of the series, to kind of sum it up, is this is just some of the movies I have in my DVD or maybe possibly VHS collection, or even Blu-ray collection that would be considered extreme, maybe very violent. Some of them may be banned in some countries. And this isn't me just saying these are extreme or disturbing. These are general consensus. If you look online, you may find a lot of articles about these movies, these specific movies being extreme or having a lot of disturbing elements to them. They may not be to you guys, may not even be really to me a whole lot, but general consensus is there are some disturbing elements to these films, or general make you feel uneasy type situations in these films. I got three coming to you today. You probably already know what they are since you probably clicked on this video. There's probably a thumbnail with all of them. The first movie that I'm going to be talking about, and I'm only going to be briefly hinting on these movies. I know my first part of this with the Serbian film Bunny Game and the other movie that I did was a little long. I kind of talked a little bit about the plot from what I remember. I'm kind of just tell you what the plot is on this. I'm not going to give away any spoilers or anything. I'm just going to tell you why a lot of people believe these are disturbing, kind of some of the elements that are in these films that possibly could make them disturbing. So we'll kind of jump right into it. The first movie I'm going to be talking about today is one of the five considered one of the new French extremity movement films. It's actually probably the more popular one. They just actually remade this movie in America, and it is Martyrs. This is the original Martyrs. It's a French-Canadian horror. They call it a drama horror film, but it's pretty much a horror film. It was made. It was actually made in 2008. And I did get some notes for these because there's a lot of names I didn't want to mispronounce or at least not remember because a lot of these are foreign. It was directed by Pascal Lawyer, and it's written by him as well, and starring Morjana Aloy, and I'm probably butchering these names, and Mylene Jampanoui. Can't even really pronounce them. Martyrs has kind of I think one of the things about this movie for me personally that was kind of, I guess, I was taken aback about, was when I first watched it, when I first saw it, I was kind of confused by it. It's a very, if you're not into watching a lot of, horror, not even just horror in general, a lot of movies that really make you think with the plot, then this may be not for you, or maybe you want to check it out, and maybe it is for you. I don't know. This movie makes you think a lot. It's kind of confusing in a way. The American remake makes it a lot simpler to understand, which may be a reason why they remade it. I think mainly because this was a really popular movie. But when I first watched it, I remember I watched it and I was like, I don't really get this movie. I got parts of it, but then at the end, I think it was the ending to the movie that was really confusing. But pretty much the plot of this movie is about two girls. One's named Lucy and the other's name, if I can remember, Anna. Lucy and Anna. Lucy is, at the beginning of the movie, is being tortured as a young girl in this, it looks like a torture chamber, basically, in this warehouse. She actually escapes and ends up in an orphanage where she meets Anna. And this is obviously Lucy and Anna on the front. And they become really good friends. Anna notices that Lucy seems like she's being terrorized by a demon, or Anna says that, or Lucy says she's being terrorized by a demon, and Anna's kind of there for her as a friend. And when they get older and grow up after they're at this orphanage, Lucy, and this is pretty much where I'm going to stop talking about the plot. Lucy ends up going to these, from what Anna knows, these random people's house, and just killing them. And you got to find out kind of why. You don't know at first. You have an idea, probably. Most viewers do. But overall, you really have not much of a clue. It's a little the plot itself can be a little strange at times and kind of like I said hard to understand. But overall, uh, you know, the experience I think of this movie is what has made me watch it as many times as I had. If you guys don't know already, before I kind of get into like why this movie is considered disturbing, I did a podcast, an extremely in depth podcast on this. It's actually, you can find it on my YouTube channel. You can also find it on Horophilia, which is a podcast network. If you go to like your podcast app on your iPod or your iPhone, you can download it. It's called the Disturbing Cinema Podcast. Me and my friend Moods and my friend Justin did an extremely in-depth podcast. It's probably about an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours. It was a long podcast about this film, and we just broke it down. I mean, there is spoilers in it. Beware if you do look it up. We broke this movie down of what we thought the ending meant, what we liked about it, in depth in the plot. Kind of went through the whole movie almost like a commentary. Definitely highly recommend checking that out if you really are into this movie, or if you. I maybe not recommend it if you've never seen the film, just because I don't want it to be spoiled. But if you do like that kind of stuff, if you like listening to it and then maybe watching it, you could do that. But if you're happen to have not seen this film yet, I'd recommend watching it first and then going to listen to that podcast. There's a lot of good ideas that are floating around about the end of the movie, but definitely check that out. Kind of disturbing wise, why this is considered disturbing, why this is considered extreme, why is this one of the French extreme movement movies? There's several reasons. This movie has extremely unsettling scenes. There's a lot of unsettling scenes in this film. There's a lot of scenes in this film that you'll see, especially there's one in a bathroom. If you guys have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. It's really creepy and unsettling. There's a scene in it with Lucy and a shotgun that's extremely unsettling. It has a lot of just scenes that are just, and there's a lot of scenes when they get to this house that are just super unsettling throughout the movie that just make you feel kind of odd, kind of strange. I remember first watching this movie, I was just like, wow, this is pretty creepy. Tons of blood and gore in this film, just tons of blood and gore. I mean, there's so much blood and gore in this movie, I can't even begin to tell you how much there is. Also, there's scenes of child torture in this movie. At the beginning of the movie, like I said, Lucy's being tortured. She's also a child at this point in time. And there's also scenes of torture in general. There's other scenes of torture in this film. There is a really underlying deep meaning to this that's could be not really unsettling, but kind of thoughtful to some people. They maybe have to think about it. Overall, not to kind of ramble on about this film, this is one of my favorite films of all time. I gave this a 10 out of 10 on that podcast. I still give it a 10 out of 10. The original, not the remake. The remake was pretty much a scene-for-scene remake of this that was not as good, with little to zero blood and gore, which is kind of sad. I actually did a review of that on my channel as well. Check it out. But yeah, Martyrs, I give it a 10 out of 10. Super disturbing. One of the 5 extremist French movie movement films. Definitely check it out. Irreversible's on there. Inside's on there. There's Ills, which is roughly translated Them's on there. There's a couple more on there. But check this out. 10 out of 10. Moving on. Next film that I'm going to be speaking about is a film that I think maybe still on Netflix. I actually own it. I actually did a review of this. I believe it's on my channel. It may be in my channel or Body Bags. I'll leave a link for all these reviews because I think every single one of these films I'm talking about are reviewed. This movie is a 2012 British thriller / horror. I consider this kind of like horror thriller. Directed by Paul Hyatt. And it started filming in 2012 and was released in the end of 2012. It's a UK movie, roughly runs about 90 minutes. It is The Seasoning House. Like I said, directed by Paul Hyatt, written by Paul Hyatt, starring Rosie Day, Kevin Haworth, and Sean Pertwee. This movie follows a girl called Angel, a young girl called Angel, that is forced to work in a house that specializes in supplying kidnapped women forced into sex trade to a various military personnel. This movie starts out with Angel, who the military is in her town. This is like a foreign country, obviously. I'm assuming this is based in maybe the UK or wherever. And her family basically gets gunned down. She's deaf and mute. She gets put in this house where it's like a young child brothel where these military men come in and rape these girls. They're tied down to beds, drugged up. She's actually there doing their makeup for these men, and fixing them up, drugging them, and this is I consider this like a revenge film. If you haven't seen this movie, I really, really recommend this movie. This movie like surprised me very much. Like I actually absolutely love this movie. Can't remember what I rated it, honestly. I would probably rate this movie a 9 or a 10 out of 10. It was very, very good, very well written, very well acted, very well directed. And I didn't write this down, but I remember reading where the guy that did the special effects in this, which are really, really good, he was the special effects guy for something else that was really popular. I don't know if it says it on here or not. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. But the special effects in this are outstanding. Just very, very good special effects. Very believable looking. Very gory. So, kind of get into this movie. Let you guys know why it's disturbing, extreme, tons of gore. The special effects are very, very well done in this movie. Much more well done than Martyrs. I mean, Martyrs was really good, but this is much better. I mean, this also came out like 4 years later. And there's a lot of definitely unsettling themes. Girls forced into sex trade, military men raping women, this deaf mute girl, which you have somebody that has a disability, which, for a lot of people, even me, it's kind of disturbing not disturbing, but kind of extreme that you're making the main character a disabled person, but at the same time, it's very interesting. A lot of just torture in this film. There's a ton of torture. Pretty much similar to Martyrs. It has a lot of elements that are similar to Martyrs. So definitely check this out. Seasoning House, like I said, I think you can find it on Netflix still. Worth a watch. Very, very well directed. I compare the directing of this movie to Serbian film. It looks very, very well done. So check that out. And the last movie on my list today is actually a 1996 Hong Kong Category 3 exploitation film starring Anthony Wong. If you're not familiar with Category 3, it's kind of like an R rating or NC-17 rating, I believe. It's the old rating system they had back in Hong Kong. This movie's pretty notorious. A lot of people know about it. Luckily, I got it before it went out of print for like $8 or something on eBay. This goes for like $50 now or something crazy. Ebola Syndrome, starring Anthony Wong, who's also one of my favorite actors, especially my favorite Chinese actor. Amazing, amazing actor. He was also in a movie called The Untold Story, which is very, very similar to Ebola Syndrome. Consider Ebola Syndrome a better movie, but Untold Story is also very, very good movie. Like I said, starring Anthony Wong, written by Ting Chow and directed by Herman Yao. Similar names, and produced by Wong Jing. The movie came out June 15th, 1996. It's 98 minutes long. Basically, this movie stars, has a main character called Kai, who is a convict from Hong Kong who escapes to South Africa after killing his former boss and his boss's wife. In South Africa, he works at a Chinese restaurant and one day travels with his boss to South Africa tribe that is infected with the Ebola virus. So basically, he flees China, flees Hong Kong, and he killed his wife or his boss and wife, boss's wife, and flees, becomes like a cook in South Africa. Goes to this tribe. They actually are gathering meat and such, and this tribe is infected with Ebola. Ends up catching Ebola, and all hell breaks loose. I don't want to give anything in this movie away, and this movie is really hard to review. I did review it. It's so much shit going on in this movie. It's crazy. Anthony Wong's performance in this movie is outstanding. I would definitely give this movie a 10 out of 10. Love this movie. One of my favorite foreign films of all time. Why this movie can be disturbing, like I said, it's an exploitation Cat 3 film. There are there's a lot of blood in this movie. There's a lot of unsettling themes as well, just like in the last two. There's like a scene where he makes hamburger meat out of human flesh and feeds it to people in his restaurant. He's spreading Ebola, does not give a fuck, just spreading Ebola. There's a decapitation scene in this. There's rape. There's a really brutal rape scene in this with one of the African tribesmen. Anthony Wong is a savage in this movie. This movie is one of the most savage, like unrelenting movies I've ever seen. Honestly, I mean, for this movie to come out in 1996, this is a pretty brutal fucking movie. Highly, highly, highly recommend. If you're into foreign cinema, Asian cinema, check Ebola Syndrome out. I let my buddy watch this. You can actually check my buddy out. We did a mini Japanese marathon or a mini foreign movie marathon on my channel, Michael, aka Red 13. Huge foreign movie fan. I let him borrow this and watch it. He loved it. Absolutely loved it. Check out the Untold Story as well. This movie is more gross, I think, than anything. There's a lot of really, really gross, kind of odd scenes in this movie that'll just make you feel very uncomfortable. But overall, 10 out of 10 for this as well. Like I said, tons of blood and gore, rape, spreading of a really, really bad virus, which I think Ebola nowadays is pretty much AIDS. I know it's not the same thing still, but I think what they were getting at with this film with the word Ebola was AIDS. I don't think that they actually were able to convey that very well, but I'm pretty sure it's more or less AIDS is what the disease that he has in this film. But anyway, that's that. That's my 3 films, disturbing, extreme movies in my collection. If you have any movies that you would suggest me go over, I have a ton of quote-unquote disturbing, extreme films. I'd like to hear your comments. Like and subscribe to my page. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know, what movies you guys have in your collection that are very unsettling and hard to watch. Until next time, I will try to upload another one of these as soon as possible. Maybe next month, maybe the month after, but it's going to be kind of random. But until next time, guys, I appreciate you guys watching, and peace. See ya.